All right, here we go. New week, new topic, new series. We're talking about today these transitions in discipleship, transitions moving closer to God, closer to who God created us to be. These transitions, and this week we want to talk about moving from enemies of God to friends of God.
Yeah. This will be an interesting series because it's really about your journey, right?
Yep.
Your faith journey, which I connect with, because it surprises me. I think sometimes you fall into a couple different camps of lifelong Christian, always believed, will always believe, don't know why people don't believe, right? And then wishy-washy on the fence, like, I don't know, maybe there's a God, maybe there's not, whatever, right? But the in-between is so vast, right? That journey from, I don't know, to fully believe is like, bigger than the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And so I think some people, when they have this perception of belief, it's either or.
Yeah, instead of this, Lord, help me believe in my unbelief.
Right. Yeah. And so, and you kind of get to I'm going to give a little secret out. You kind of get to a point in your faith journey where you see the people that are like, oh, I've always believed, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of think to yourself, well, am I crazy? Like that I don't believe like them, right? You know what I mean? And so I don't want to say like you kind of fake it, but you kind of introspectively, the people that are like the people that are in the middle, right? Usually don't walk around telling people, I have doubts every now and then, right?
Yeah, and doubts are the human experience. It's part of our human emotional journey. It's part of our experience, and I don't think you're ever gonna be doubtless. Like even at that, your sliding scale that you're talking about, this broad spectrum. I don't think there's possibly a 100% arrived. There's always gonna be closer, farther to go in that journey.
Yeah. So that's why that's kind of the a little bit about
on this side of eternity.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what really gets me excited about this series is kind of being able to discuss some of that. That kind of that journey of being not necessarily against God, right? But this idea of being an enemy of God or trying to do the opposite, right? Or not really following God and doing what God wants you to do, but doing something else.
Yeah, being contrary. Contrary to the will.
Right, exactly.
Well, let's we had some scriptures to frame this out.
Okay.
We'll just like rapid fire it, like
boom,
some fun
boom, boom.
stuff. Like Romans 5:10. While we were God's enemies, we were reconciled to him through the death of his son. So with that, we can talk about like a disciple is one who has repented of their sins and turned towards God. Scripture also, John 15, Jesus said this, I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. And I think that is awesome imagery. You're not, God's not a taskmaster.
Yeah.
Right? You're not
a servant of God. You're not
a cog in the wheel.
Serves this, you're not someone that serves God and just does what he wants you to do because
you're part of
that's it.
Yeah.
You understand the plan, the business, right?
Yeah.
You understand the model, so then you do because you understand it.
Correct.
Right?
I love the imagery of that.
So I've been thinking about that for a while, and I think it's such an amazing, because I think we had this John 15, I don't know, like a couple months ago, right? And I've been thinking about it for a long time. because it's interesting, the language, because we talk about serving others, serving God, serving, but this really kind of like reframes it a little bit, right? That you can still serve, but you're not a servant. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right, well, here, let's have some fun.
Okay.
Let's see if we can come up with some anecdotes, some stories, a little icebreaker for you. Have you ever been at a business or where the retailer or the service provider couldn't actually deliver like the one thing that they're known for or they're responsible for doing?
oh shoot, I was reading a story about this, and I'm trying to remember the business. But I can give you a probably a good generic example, which is like during the COVID lockdowns, like that initial, like 4 weeks or 6 weeks to stop the spread or whatever. I guarantee you there was a lot of service industry jobs of people that go into people's homes, like, air conditioning, like, I think it was like the winter. So, heating and air companies and other companies where people didn't feel comfortable with like them coming in their home, right? So they couldn't really do what they were meant to do, like think about somebody coming in to, mount your TV on the wall for you, or somebody coming into your house to clean or whatever, right? Like people didn't want them in their house. So it's not necessarily that they were out of the ability to do it. It's just people didn't want them to do it.
Yeah, what I think about, what came to mind for me with this question is we're in Kansas City, barbecue town, a big barbecue town, lots of great barbecue joints, and there's like a trick with barbecue because you can't make more than the demand for barbecue.
Right,
Because
then
it's
you're losing
expensive,
money. Yeah,
right?
you're losing
Like,
money on the meat. You're cooking this meat and
you
nobody's eating it.
but if you're constantly under delivering,
Yeah, then people stop coming.
You lose your ability. And how often have you been in like the barbecue? You've been in the barbecue line, right? Like the big line at the place. You get up and you get up the front. And you're like, hey, can I get the
86
burn
ribs.
ends? Like no burn ends, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the ribs. Dude, we're out of ribs. How about the brisket? No, man, no brisket. And then you're like, okay, all right, fine. Just give me the pulled pork sandwich. That's not really my
Yeah.
jam. Like, we have chicken.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. You have
I didn't
chicken?
come here for chicken.
I didn't come here for chicken, right?
Could have gone to KFC.
And then
got
they're
some
like,
chicken.
hey, but dude, we have half chickens, and they take the whole chicken, they lop it in half,
Yeah.
and they give you like the
Half the
left
chicken.
or the right half of the chicken.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that's pretty cool. I'll take the left half of the chicken.
Take the left half. We went on vacation down to Branson, and we went to this restaurant. I won't name the name for obvious reasons, but it was
They're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor, and I don't want to cast shade on for my one experience in this place. Okay. It was like an all-you-can-eat family style kind of. It wasn't a buffet, but it was like you ordered family style.
Okay.
Okay, and then they just brought, and they just kind of like Stroud's here in Kansas City, not a sponsor.
Not a
But
sponsor.
they just bring you more food. And we heard their mac and cheese was like the best, right? Like it was like, this place is known for their mac and cheese. You got to go. It's so good. No mac and cheese. Out. But they were out of like half the stuff. Like when we went, like, granted we were dumb and we didn't think about it, but we went on a Sunday at like 5:00. Well, they probably had all the church crowds coming through, and it's a weekend and it's a touristy place, but they were literally out of everything they were known for: mac and cheese, meatloaf, like some other stuff. So we were like, well, what do you have? Well, we got this. Okay, bring it to us. Well, then the kids didn't eat because they didn't like any of the stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like, there's your example.
Can I go on a mac and cheese diatribe?
A diatribe? I love me some mac and cheese.
So you love mac and cheese.
I love it.
You make great mac and cheese. You've made
do.
made me mac and cheese before.
Yeah.
You use the twisty noodles.
Oh, Capavelli.
I think they're called twisty on the box. Twisty noodles.
Yeah, okay.
So Keith uses the twisty
The
noodles
twisty noodles.
and
So
makes
the
his
cheese can get inside of it.
makes his mac and cheese with twisty noodles, little crunchy breadcrumbs on top, right? It was really good mac and cheese. Now, at the end of the day, I have never understood the adult enjoyment, consumption, and fascination with mac and cheese. Like,
Why
I'll
not?
have a bite. Like, I had a bite of the old shells and cheese with the kids last night.
Sure, yeah. Do you do the Velveeta with the
with this little squeeze
packet?
pouch.
Yeah, that's the best.
We have a this harkens back to the 80s. There's a meal that's in our household that is yellow meal.
Okay.
It's fish sticks, mac and cheese, corn.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's yellow meal.
Yeah,
So
oh,
if
yeah.
you're having
Everything's yellow.
if you're having fish sticks, you have yellow meal.
Okay.
And it's but and then that was my wife's childhood.
Don't ever invite me over for
yellow meal?
for fish sticks.
Okay.
The smell of it is just like, because it harkens back to my childhood when my dad only knew how to cook fish sticks or goulash. And I love me some goulash. And I hate fish sticks.
Okay.
Because it was more fish sticks than goulash.
Well, here's where I go down this mac and cheese thing.
Yellow
is
meal.
mac and cheese was in the box,
Kraft. Blue box.
blue box, or the
Quarter cup of
great
milk.
value blue box
Oh,
equivalent.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just final texture slightly different on all accounts.
Slightly.
But that was a daily staple. Mm-hmm. So, I'd probably had 5,000 servings of mac and cheese by the time I was 10. I'm not interested in at your fancy buffet to dive into some mac and cheese.
It's for the kids.
But you love it.
I love mac and cheese, but I wouldn't go to a buffet and load up on mac and cheese. I would
I'm
eat
telling
other
you, man, I
things.
constantly see all sorts of adults be like, "Oh man, the mac and cheese." Great barbecue restaurants. It's on the menu.
I know. You have to have sides. Okay, now let me
Beans,
let's back
slaw.
off this for a second.
Like,
okay?
I don't understand
I don't like coleslaw.
beans, slaw,
I don't like
fries.
coleslaw.
I
It's
don't
got
understand
mayo in it.
potato salad
But a potato salad, if it's mustard based,
with mayonnaise.
not okay with that. So mac and cheese, I think, is one of those things that if you just eat the Kraft variety a bunch, sure, you're just going to be like, well, it's mac and cheese, right? But when you elevate that and you step that up, and you get the Velveeta with the packet, the creamy,
And now you're
that's
talking-
good. That's the next step.
Now you're going like lobster mac and cheese. Is that where you're headed with this?
I mean, you could.
I just want the lobster.
Or chicken. We had chicken strips, and I thought about, we had leftover Zaxby's chicken strips, and I thought about chopping those up and putting it in the mac and cheese and doing like a casserole with it. Dude, nothing better than that.
No, see, my brother, he was going to make brisket mac and cheese. And then we
that'd be
realized
good.
we were brothers. And he's like, I'm not ruining brisket by putting it in mac and cheese. Moving on.
So you asked the question, have you ever been part of have you ever known a business to be out of whatever it is? Okay?
That's how we got down the barbecue path
right.
of being like, what is it you say you do here? You should, when you're the rib joint and you're out of ribs, you should close for the day.
I would agree. Now, this is my question for you.
Like, shoot up a flare. Like, when the flare goes up, you guys in the
They
back
should have
of
a
the line.
flag system.
Yes.
Outside, where it's like ribs, brisket, and then or like a light system where they can flip a switch.
No,
and
I
the
like
light
the
goes,
flags. It's
you
kind of like
pull
at
the
the
flag
beach.
down.
It's like safe to swim, not safe to swim. Get out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to.
Okay.
So, what kind of business do you think the church is in?
Well, as lay pastor, I would say the church is in the disciple making business.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Now, my question wasn't our church, right? It's the church overall, right? So, I don't think it changes your answer. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. That's a tough question. Because some things popped in my mind. Making disciples was one of the first. I think
I think
giving
confusions.
people hope.
confusion, the confusion lies in people can think, well, the church is in the business of feelings,
Well,
helping
like I went out, like hope,
hope,
right?
comfort, love, support. The church is in the
Community making business.
the entertainment business,
Sure.
the good Christian morals business.
Social policies.
Moral upbringings, cultural, socio-cultural policy, business.
Yep.
I think those are some of the misconceptions and mistakes and deviations.
Well, you can see that. You can see that deviation sometimes in various organizations, right? And to step away from churches for a moment, I think about which I won't name its name, but there was a not-for-profit that raised money for service members that got injured in the line of duty, and they would help them with prosthetic legs or whatever the VA couldn't help them with. And then it came out that they were taking these all-inclusive trips to the Caribbean for business meetings and spending all this money on stuff that didn't really follow the mission of what the organization was, right? And so I think that you can see that in some churches as well, right? Like you can see either some churches going down that path or fully went down that path, where they confuse what their mission or business is with something else, right? And I wouldn't say that it's terribly difficult to do, just getting those priorities out of line, right?
No, it's a pretty slippery path. I think you can see it once again coming back to the food industry. I think you can see it time and time and time again with the fast food industry and the shifts of or gimmicks or concepts that different industries will use or different restaurants will use to gain new energy or gain new attractionalism or gain new.
Sure.
They'll be like one. Do you remember when IHOP announced that they wanted to be known for burgers?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They wanted
best burger place, come for breakfast in the morning.
They're like,
burger.
we're just gonna flip the P over, and we'll just be the International House of Burgers. Right?
How long did that last? Like 6 months before they realized it was a fail?
But that's a little different because that's like a diner serve. But it'd be like if
here's my
if
example.
Chick-fil-A got into hamburgers. Like what is it you say we're doing here?
Here's my example.
Okay.
It just makes zero sense to me. You got Taco Bell.
Yep.
They make tacos.
That's right. It's in their name.
They take some kind of tortilla or hard chip.
Yep.
And shove meat and cheese and vegetables in it and hand it to you.
Exactly.
Okay?
That is the model.
That's the model. Why do you have nacho fries? I understand they're seasoned like nachos, but it's a French fry.
It is a French fry. Because potato olays were taken, Keith.
Do you know what I'm saying? Why do you have to have fries all of a sudden? Every place out there does fries better than you.
Yep.
Like every place does fries better than you.
Know your role.
Know your role.
Yeah.
Serve me meat inside of some kind of shell.
Or bean if you want to.
Or bean if
or
you're
7 different layers.
If you're celebrating Lent with meatless Fridays, you can have beans. But I'm just saying
I think it's an observance, not a celebration on them.
I guess that's true. Inappropriate, not inappropriate. Bad choice of wording.
If you're celebrating your suffering with bean burritos, actually that's. If you're looking at something to give up, maybe it's
Taco Bell and nacho fries. What's the point?
All right, so if I say that disciple making is the business of the church,
the business.
how would you define disciple?
I would say my personal, right, definition is someone that is committed to being more like